I've played rooms of 3. I've played 300,000. I've toured the world. I've toured Europe. I've been everywhere. I've done a lot. Like, I'm blessed to say, I'm lucky to say I've done more and done things that a lot of people dream of doing, played on stages and played festivals and all sorts of, toured the world, recorded in some amazing studios with amazing artists, and I'm lucky. But whether we're playing 30,000 or whether we're playing 30 people, it's actually more fun playing with 30 people. I actually have more fun getting on stage in front of 30 people because you just feel connected. You feel like you can, like, they're part of it. Like, you're sitting in the same room with them. You're not just standing on a massive stage with 10 metres of barricade and then 30,000 people. I mean, it's exciting, don't get me wrong, like the blood rushes.
It would be weird.
It's amazing. Like, you get on the first time I ever did a big gig, my first huge gig was 15,000. And I was...
What band? Where?
I think I was supporting someone. It was a session job.
Right.
It was just a session job
Okay.
I was doing. This is back in mid to late 90s. I think it was about 96, 97. I think we were supporting the Baby Animals on tour at the time.
Wow.
I think it was around 95, 96 actually. And we played festival somewhere down in New South Wales. And
Do you remember a band Bull Rush?
Yeah.
I was in Bull Rush.
Okay. Man, I remember Bull Rush.
Do you?
Yeah,
well, we supported Baby Animals.
Whereabouts here on the coast?
In 96 we moved to Sydney.
Yeah, right.
But we hung out, their tour manager was Peter Quinn.
Yeah.
And he was pretty much living in our house.
Yeah, right.
And so, we did all sorts of stuff with Nuno Betancourt and...
oh, wow, yeah.
Because he married
Susie.
They had a house in Balmain.
That's right.
We were just like...
Spin out, small world,
spinning
hey?
out. Like,
Very cool.
Yeah.
But that's it, like, playing some of these gigs, playing the big gigs and playing the small gigs, it was never... It's never been it's exciting, like I said, but, a gig's a gig. It doesn't matter whether it's 3 people, 30 people, 30,000, 300,000. It's electrifying. You get up there and your adrenaline's rushing and you're doing what you love doing. You're rocking and rolling.
But here's the thing, man. You make me realise, then. You look young to me, right? But you obviously, have that knowledge of the mid-90s.
I'll be 40 this year, man. So, yeah.
Well, okay.
So...
Rock and roll, you're doing good.
Pretty lucky there.
Hey,
I'm doing all right.
Well, I knew, Susie DiMarchi, an Aussie, owned a house in Balmain. Dave Leslie, their guitarist, had a house over in behind Newtown. Mm-hmm. Drummer from Angels, Brent Eccles.
Yep.
Massive house. We used to go to his house all the time. He had a great house. A really hard-working lad.
Yeah.
But like a glass drum room above all the bedrooms, and his son plays drums in another glass room. So you could be in the sort of hallway of the house, and they're upstairs drumming to each other through glass,
and
like real bands with money.
And
roadies. Everyone sort of knew a working roadie, and especially in Sydney.
Yeah, Sydney and Melbourne were the places. Yeah, that was it.
Industry, what
was the Mecca? Sydney and Melbourne were the Mecca for music, especially in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah, but even Brisbane, because there was so much PA and so much road crew and so much heavy PA that needed people, so much money and alcohol. And but you find yourself right now, how will it... I don't know anyone with any money. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I look at a new band now going, I don't think any of us is going to make money.
Like, well, that's it. That's a sad thing, man. Like, that's the thing. Like, I know guys in really well-known bands. I won't mention any names right now, but really well-known, doing extremely well, in the charts, and, they're making it. They're overseas, and they're here, and they're this and that. And then they get home, and they're back working for mum and dad because, it's not paying the bills. It's not, the fame is there, but the fortune's not. Unfortunately, the glory's there, but you can't put exposure in the bank, man.
No.
Do you know what I mean? Like this is the thing. This is the never-ending battle that we're always facing, as all musicians, big, small, well-known or not well-known. Like I said, I know well-known acts, really well-known acts that are, again, same thing in the charts and doing really well, and they're playing gigs all over the world, getting guarantees of hundreds of thousands of dollars, and they're still not paid. They're still. Yeah. It's so whether you're waiting for a $50 check from a bank, from a venue, or a $200 paycheck, or a $200,000 paycheck, the struggle's still the same.
Yeah.
You're still chasing that venue or that promoter, or that person or whatever. So It's no different. Just the problems are bigger. So,
what is it? Spotify. I don't have a Spotify account, but
neither do I.
I saw an ad. It's 99 cents, or
Yeah.
I think it is.
Yeah.
And I think that was like a joining fee, but that means you get all this free music.
That's right.
And a lot of the artists were saying, well, that's where, and that seems to be where all the kids. I buy mine. Like if we learn a song on for this cover band, it's really easy for me to just buy it on iTunes. Of
course it is.
$1.99, $1.97 or whatever,
Easy.
$2.70.
Yep, $1.68.
Right, and that's how we learn our songs.
Yep.
It kind of makes me feel cool. Like, you're actually, hey, dude, who play that funky music, white guy. Yeah. You're actually getting a bit of dollars to Nectar.
Man,
Boom,
some cash,
here comes your way. You know.
There's your royalties.
But I reckon with Spotify, like that, you get like half a cent.
Up to 2
the
cents.
Band,
up
is
to,
it?
Up to 2 cents.
And that's where everyone goes, right? That's
up to, yeah, that's it. But how crazy is that? Like how many
crazy.
times does your song have to play? And like put it in perspective like this. How many times does your song have to play so that you yourself could go to McDonald's and buy a cheeseburger? Wow. Think about that. What's a cheeseburger now? $3, $4?
So that means everyone has to have a hit like straight away.
You think about it, right?
Forget a good record. You have to have that one hit.
Yeah.
Bang.
You know,
on a thing like Spotify.
Well, you think about it, 2 million plays at 1 cent each. I mean, that's still a big paycheck, right?
I'm going to work that out.
That's not bad at all, right? But at the end of the day, you got to be like Taylor Swift to get that, you know, or Bruno Mars or someone like that, unless you're in the American pop scene and you're making the kind of money that Jay-Z and Beyonce are making. I mean, okay, after that and after everything that they do, they can afford to make 2 cents a play. But for someone like you and me, or a band that's trying to get out there or trying to even make money out of it, it's very difficult because people don't realise the costs involved, studio time. I mean, I understand nowadays it's easier and more accessible. You can record at home and everyone's got a computer, everyone's a sound engineer, everyone's a producer. But you're never going to beat, ever going to beat the experience of going into a real studio, like a real proper setup studio. Not some makeshift garage or anything like that, but a studio that's cost millions of dollars to set up with millions of dollars of gear on it, you know, and be able to come out with a product and go, have a listen to that. The difference is huge.
Have you ever been to the Griffith Uni studio?
Yeah.
That blew my mind.
Yeah.
Cal, you sent us over there. I play bass in the Bastards. You never actually knew that. Cal sent me a message going, hey, we need a good band for someone wants to...
do some recordings.
It's an engineer. What's his name? Jules? Jazz. Yeah, I think someone... Anyway.
Yep.
Yeah, I know a great band, the Bastards.
Nice.
Yeah, so... but I was blown out, man. I went to this... the Griffith Uni has a studio. Okay, and I always knew it because I know guys who did the pop music course there.
Yeah. Bachelor of Pop, yeah.
Yeah. And, but wow.
Yeah.
What a studio. And, well,
That's not bad.
Hey, let's think about...
It's not bad, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Rooms and rooms and rooms.
Yeah.
They even have a new... like high ceiling piano rooms.
Yeah, they've done it right. Like, I mean, you know, they're in a university. Obviously, they're teaching courses, so it's got to be all, you know, it's got to be standard. It's got to be industry standard stuff, and they've done it right. They've set it up right. Definitely wouldn't bag the place at all. I mean, you know, I can sit here and say in comparison too, because I've worked in some of the, you know, luckily enough, again, not being able to blow my own trumpet, but I'm happy to be able to say that I've been able to work in some of the most amazing, like, and high profile studios on the planet, not just in Australia.
Educate me. Tell me which ones.
Look, I've worked.
What's blowing your mind?
I spent some time in Europe and recorded in Denmark with a couple of the producers that used to be, you know, keyboard players in Roxette and stuff like that. And they've all got world class studios over there. Guys that have worked for Peter Gabriel, stuff like that. You know,
you made
your
real money.
Like your 301s. Yeah, that's it. Like, I mean, I've worked at 301 for years, on and off. You know, whether it be in Sydney or Byron,
Sydney,
all over the place.
Yeah.
I've worked at Sing Sing. I've worked at Rocking Horse. I've worked at all the big studios in Australia, and you know, I've seen some amazing private studios in the country as well that are, you know, just as...
Which one's Les Gox? Is that Sing Sing? No.
Les
Gock.
No. Wasn't
the
Sing
one in
Sing.
North Sydney.
Grove. No, actually, no, he's on the Central Coast. So you're talking about...
come to me.
Yeah. But there are some amazing studios out there, and there are some amazing guys out there with private studios that rival some of the major studios because they've obviously got the money to do it. But, you know, being able to play in some of these places with some of these people through some of the gear. You know, I've got friends that work at Abbey Road and friends that work in LA at Capitol and all sorts of places, you know, and you look at some of the sessions these guys on and some of the rooms that they're in and you just you're blown away by it. But then there's that old adage, that meme. I've seen this thing go around Facebook where you see these little cartoon pictures of, vintage Neve desk, $400,000, vintage preamp, $4,000, vintage microphone, $8,000, this, and it just converts all the way down, and then it gets, converted to an MP3, and then it gets played through 99-cent headphones. I'm like, it's so funny, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's why everyone's just producing music on the cheap nowadays, but you still can't go past, the real thing. I mean, I got into the studio not long ago with a couple of friends. We had a couple of days sort of grace in between some sessions. And we looked over in the corner and we saw a 24-track 2-inch tape machine sitting there. And we knew it was there because my friend had bought it off 301 when they closed down in Byron. And I was like, let's crank that up. Let's do that, So sitting down and doing the whole, almost a Foo Fighters thing where we got rid of the studio monitor, we got rid of the computer monitors, took them out of the equation, unplugged them, and just did everything live to tape.
Shaking your knees.
That's all it was. Everything was live to tape, and it was vintage outboard gear. There were no plugins. It was just raw rock and roll. It was mic the drums up the proper way, the real way, the studio way, with room mics, ambient mics, top and bottoms on toms and this and that and the other, and just playing to a click and having to get it dead right without editing it. And we said, we're not going to edit it. If we have to edit something on tape, I'm not splicing the tape. No one wanted to put their hand up to do that because it's the worst job in the world, right? And we came out, we had to listen to it afterwards, and we were like, wow, this sounds unreal.
And and the fear is in your tones and your instruments.
It sounds like everything. Everything translates.
You shared the moment. Like today, right now, we're this is history, right? So
everything translates.
Nothing can, so you...
Yeah. And I'm dealing with guys who are total tone junkies, right? These guys can sit around and talk about tones and sounds and this till next week. Mm-hmm. They'll sit there and chew your ears off. And they get so passionate about it too. They get so into it. And so they're so devoted to what they do. Again, and these guys are the guys that are behind the scenes that no one gets to hear of, but they're so into what they do. That's what creates that magic.
I just think, maybe when I thought the whole time I've been thinking, how do we scam the system? How do we make money out of this deal? You could, because you're a session musician, right?
Well,
but obviously there's some rich guy in Dubai who has a daughter.
Yep.
And I need a bass player for this. I'll play whatever you want.
That's it.
She's going to be the next big thing.
She wants to be the next Mariah Carey.
Yeah.
Or
probably the only way.
That's fine. I'll take your money.
You'll take that money? Did you spend that money?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Actually, I don't know. Yeah, that's another debate, man. Would you do the job or would you?
Of course.
Wouldn't you be a sellout?
Yeah.
Totally.
With a jet ski.
Yeah. And a big house and a Bentley.
Yep.
Yeah, why not?
Mate, well, but a mate of mine told me once, and I never forgot it, that, you can get all these new apps and blah, blah, blah to make music, and it's so fiddly. It hasn't really ever taken off. I'm sure it has with the kids. It didn't for me. But just like you can get a Mattg photography, you're in the corner, right, Matt? We probably spoke about this.
Yeah.
You can get all these apps that can give you filters and take your photos, but at the end of the day, it's pretty amazing how only a certain amount of people can actually make a great song.
You still got to have an eye.
Yeah, you've got to be born for the eye to know what a good shot is.
Yeah.
So they'll make all this horse shit, like to make it easier for people. But still, at the end of the day, there's only a certain amount of talents that really can use it and are hooked on the idea.
Exactly.
Will spend their entire life taking photos.
Yeah.
And and you playing guitar forever, making money and on the constant hunt.
Yeah, that's it.
And all the others just fall up aside. That's a
Yeah, you're right.
Hey.
Yep.
I'm going to pause it. I have to plug it in.
Okay.
Here's the thing. So you're obviously a switched-on character that can navigate through the business.
No, I just make it look good.
Well, but you're in an industry.
Yep.
That when you're in an original band, hey, we all did it. You can be loose.
Yeah.
So when you've got 5 guys in a band, I'm alluding to dudes can I'm a rock star. You watch what happens on TV and go, that's the dude I want to be. I want to be, I don't know.
I want to be this guy. I want to be that guy.
This guy. And it worked for him.
I get it. And